Welcome to another episode of CPaaSAA Talks. This morning, we're here with three of our newest members of the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance. We're super excited to have them join us here today and tell us a little bit about themselves and their companies. One of the things that we like to highlight within the Alliance is the diversity of the types of companies that fit within the broad ecosystem that we call CPaaS. And so, gentlemen, we appreciate you joining today. Welcome.
Great to be here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So I think we represent three continents here. We've got Vaibhav from, I believe you're in from India here this evening. So, good evening to you. David, I believe you're in just outside of London there in the UK.
That's it, Cambridge, UK.
Yeah. And Nathan, you're here stateside on the East Coast.
Absolutely, yes. Good morning.
Yeah, so another good example of what we're seeing here with the industry and ourselves here with the Alliance is this global nature, right? It's really cool that we have so many different countries and cultures and technologies represented within the broader ecosystem that is driving the business forward for the industry. So let me start. Let's start in the UK here. So David, just a brief introduction of yourself and a high-level intro to Speechmatics.
Sure. So David Agmen-Smith. I'm the director of product at Speechmatics. You may or may not be able to tell my accent, but it's Kiwi. So I went to university over there, did computer systems engineering. Started up a geospatial data company back then. Since then, I've moved over here. I've worked in sort of big tech, small startups, and telcos quite a bit too. The common theme has been scaling innovation, and almost all of that has been communication related. Moved to Speechmatics 2.5 years ago, having a great time here. I think that the key for Speechmatics summary is 10 years ago, a Cambridge professor was pioneering the path on neural nets, particularly using them to transcribe speech in real time. So he started up a company that has been sort of pretty myopically the focus for most of that time on getting the most accurate speech recognition. It can do me fairly well, so it's a good test for it. It's over 50 languages. It's real time or batch. We do all the dialects, the accents. It's pretty inclusive on-prem or in the cloud. So that's what we do. As of last week, we've just unveiled a new piece on top of that. So basing it on that sort of real-time ASR foundation, we've just released a conversational AI API called Flow. So that's really a foundational stone in anyone creating conversational bots or just wanting to talk to tech. So ultimately, we see that as the means for people to ditch the keyboard, ditch the mouse, and just communicate with the computers with speech. So we are.
That's cool. I think I've seen a few movies with that as part of the dialogue there. So excited to experience that real time. So Vaibhav, tell us a little bit about yourself and Nabstract.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you so much. It's great to meet this group here and also looking forward to work with CPaaS Alliance as we progress. My name is Vaibhav Mehta, founder director for Nabstract, based out of Mumbai in India. My overall career, it's mainly been with the telecom industry and cybersecurity. But the fun part of the career has been that a lot of it has been with emerging companies and startups, being founding team members at 2 different startups before. And both these startups scaled globally. Plus, we had some interesting investments from some fairly large VCs. And, we exited this business in 2016-17, and then I was working as a professional with some fairly large consulting and services companies in telecom. Come what may, I thought I was done, but there was still some energy left inside the group and the folks who support me. And then what we saw interesting in industry is that the device usually takes control of everything we do. And we were working with a fairly innovative telco 4 years back, and they were looking at how to balance LTE and Wi-Fi. Those days, spectrum was a crunch, and everybody was worried about spectrum usage. And we could see the power of network. In that case, what we decided was, an Android and Google can do so much, and Apple can do so much on a device. But if a subscriber is in a certain location, can we change policies and can we influence behavior of that particular experience they get? So the concept of programmable networks came into place. At the same time, 3GPP was coming up with network exposure function in definition mode. 5G was evolving. So we put some of things together. Some of our old guys got back together. All of them are old. We have lost some hair, but we still had some energy left. And Nabstract came to our mind. It's a simple concept. There's a network. It's getting abstracted through data models and APIs. There is tons of information that we should be able to expose. So one of our team members put the name together, which was Nabstract. It's a combination of network and abstract. And this is a story we launched in 2022, mid-22. So we are close to 2.5 years old. David, that's just the time you probably joined Speechmatics. So that's the time we kind of probably opened up Nabstract. Early stage, we as a new company, I just want to introduce a bit more so that we get a context on the life cycle we are in. So we are what's called a bootstrap stage with some research grants from Government of India, Department of Telecom, plus some customers put together. And we are actively seeking to engage with telcos in the first 2.5 years of the company as we mature, and then we are moving towards more of an aggregator model as we evolve. And I'll talk a bit more about that, Kevin, throughout this conversation. But that's who we are. Very excited with this panel here. Also very excited with the associations I've had with Kevin, you, Rob, some of the other folks at CPaaS. And our view is as telcos kind of become more ambitious, bold, and ready to integrate with channel partners through CPaaS Alliance and also with hyperscalers. I think there was a missing piece then in between, which was around integration back in the network and providing ease of information towards the aggregator level. And that's Nabstract's purpose and mission. So we have created software to kind of address that space. And I'm fairly excited to talk a bit more as we proceed today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. And we love that we have startups here that are, really on the innovative edge of things. We're super excited about network APIs and how that plays into the broader solution set that's out there and what's needed. And so welcome and thank you for joining. So Nathan is a representative of Syniverse. You're on the other end of the spectrum here. So give us a bit of an introduction.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having us. Syniverse is very excited to be part of CPaaSAA going forward. So my name is Nathan Robbins. I'm our Vice President of Go-to-Market Strategy and Alliances. I've been with Syniverse for about 7 years. We are headquartered in Tampa, Florida in the US, but we have offices and customers around the world. For those that don't know, Syniverse is known as the world's most connected company. So we sit in the middle of nearly every mobile operator around the world, as well as many of the top companies and brands from an enterprise perspective, and we help all of them connect with their customers. So on the mobility side of our solutions, everything from roaming to connectivity, we've been in the ecosystem since the advent of 1G, and helping operators migrate from each generational shift, 2G to 3G, et cetera. So today we're working actively as operators shut down their 3G networks to make room for new 5G networks and make sure all of their roaming solutions continue to work. On the messaging side, which is really kind of why we're here today, we support both carriers and enterprises. So everything from P2P and A2P messages, as well as 10DLC and CPaaS solutions. So we help enterprises reach their customers, as well as carriers grow in this emerging space. So very excited to be working with kind of all parts of the ecosystem here at CPaaSAA.
Well, we appreciate it. And I think that's what's exciting is as we look at the broader ecosystem, I mean, what we can do, with I can only imagine what we can do with Speechmatics technology. And then, but, we need all the operators networks to make sure that that's connected. We need the APIs above that so that developers and enterprises can consume that. so that's really one of our objectives here as a group, is to bring us all together and figure out how we can work and make that all work together. So David, coming back to you for a minute, what do you consider your secret sauce as Speechmatics?
Sure. Super high accuracy transcription has been what we've aimed for since get-go, and that continues to be, even the conversational AI space and the sort of the new paradigm that LLMs have opened up continues to be paramount for us. If you can accurately transcribe what people are saying, then you don't have errors down the workflow. So whether it's a compliance workflow, agent assist, you're doing some sort of analytics, or you're talking to an LLM, if you have issues with accuracy, then that's going to have a material impact on your business. So we've focused on being the most accurate throughout, and also in real time. So it's a hard problem to be accurate with a small amount of context. For us, that's been the aim from the beginning, is even at really low latency, so very quick turnaround for real-time conversations, maintain that accuracy with a minimum degradation. And that has opened up this possibility for us to actually have seamless conversations with LLMs and other voice agents, because we can get that latency to a point where actually it sounds like you're talking to a human, which others have struggled to do so far.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and as we look at again enabling these applications, Vaibhav, can you give me maybe a customer use case of how your technology has been deployed or will be deployed? And so if I'm an end user, as I'm an enterprise, what value within this ecosystem, within the stack, do you bring to me as an end customer?
Sure. I think what we have been trying to achieve is create a universal platform, kind of access agnostic and vendor agnostic, so that enterprises or consumers could abstract information back from the network, right? And a classic use case was, I'll talk about a mining use case for an enterprise industry. They had these unmanned vehicles which are roaming around the mining site, and typically, quite a bit of blasts and fire hazards are around mining sites. So they geofence an area, and they make sure that no human or vehicle or device moves around that area. And when they go underground, there is no GPS, so there is tough to kind of track what's going on, right? And add to that there were video surveillance systems around both mobility-based devices as well as fixed sensors. And now all this is still working, but these are all working through 4 or 5 different silo-driven environment systems. So what we call operational technologies driving 4 verticals. Well, the network has the power to bind all of them. So what we had done was our platform integrated with the 5G core as well as the applications on the top, like video surveillance or unmanned vehicles. And our platform has a policy studio. So it's like a use case orchestration, creation, intent-driven engine that says that if a device is in this area of interest, can you do the following for that device, right? It's a simple intent. But to kind of convert this into form of 4 APIs coming from applications towards 2 APIs going towards a network and sending response back with notifications is what Nabstract is all about. So our platform, which uses not southbound integration to the network and then creates a kind of a simplified APIs towards the northbound. Kevin, this was one such use case. There have been some proof of concepts that we are doing on anti-fraud. We historically are not very strong at this. It's this community here, which is very strong at mobile identity and anti-fraud. But what we are finding out is that there was so much work which used to happen, which was proprietary and non-standard with the network, is now getting addressed through network APIs and 5G by giving a bit more programmable, simple way of doing the same thing at lower cost and at a larger scale, right? So I think these are the new use cases evolving around this platform. But our aim eventually is that when you have n number of applications, can they have a unique, simple experience from the network through use of these APIs? And that's what Nabstract has created through its products.
That's great. That's great. And I think that's the thing that's the beauty of this is the openness, right? And so being able to have that broader ecosystem and developer community and enterprises be able to access those capabilities within their own applications, which is key. So Nathan, kind of moving on to you here, you've, as Syniverse, have been around since essentially the inception of messaging. And
Yes.
and so as we've gone from, you said 1G, 2, 3, 5, we're at 5 now. As you've gone through this experience and have that background, what are you seeing customers doing that's new and exciting off the Syniverse platform, and maybe gives us a glimpse into the future of messaging of what's next?
Absolutely. So this has been a rapidly shifting ecosystem, not only over kind of the entire life cycle of multiple decades, but particularly just the past 12 months. I would say, if we look back a few years, SMS really was that's how you communicate. If you're going to communicate with your customers via mobile messaging, it was all SMS. And now with so many different types of messages, particularly this year with I'd say, re-emergence of RCS, and a lot of the excitement and traction that we're expecting with the recent Apple announcement and further adoption of RCS. That's driving a lot of interest by enterprises of how can they communicate in a different way. RCS opens up a lot of new functionality. A lot of it was already available through OTT applications like a WhatsApp or a Viber, but now essentially to be able to have the ubiquity of SMS via RCS and a lot of the new features there, a lot of increasing interest by enterprises for how can they communicate in different ways with their customers. Because ultimately it's all about how can they improve their customer experience, whether it be being more proactive, more interactive, making sure that their customers get the information when they need it and kind of in the form that they need it. So I think if we look ahead to the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see a lot of new emerging use cases beyond just a notification or a one-time passcode, getting a lot more interactive content with, I think, the ultimate goal of having more two-way conversations so that a brand's able to communicate both ways, not just sending one-time message to a customer.
Excellent. No, I think that's absolutely the case. I think it's been interesting, the combination between the reemergence of RCS as well as network APIs. Operators around the world they have an interesting challenge and an interesting opportunity to reinvent themselves and to kind of get back in the game a little bit, is
Yes.
maybe a way to think of it. And I think another area that we're hoping to help here at the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance is the opportunity to introduce interesting technology and platform companies like yourselves to these operators, right? So that they know that these cool things exist and what the business models are behind it, what the use cases are, why this is commercially available, why are other customers buying it? I think these are key stories that we're trying to work with y'all to get out there. So as you look at this kind of environment, David, what types of partners and customers are you looking for that, if someone's listening out here today, they can reach out and say, hey, I fit your profile?
Yeah, sure. So first to say, we're also very excited about joining CPaaSAA. It's works really well with our customers that we have to date. We have customers which are both CCaaS and CPaaS, probably our biggest or second biggest segment. We do millions of hours of transcription with them every month right now. So it's an area we know well, and we therefore can share a bit of what we know, but also we hope to learn quite a lot from other people on this network. So I think that's one place to start. Also mentioning, as an API only business, we need to work with others. So playing well with others is mandatory for our success. And we differ from perhaps some of the hyperscalers, not only on the accuracy advantage, but also because we have that white glove service, so we can work with our customers to work their solution, make sure that it does work, make sure they understand how to get the most out of it. So that's where we can offer, I think, some value here, and we have done to date.
Excellent. And there's a growing number of those types of prospects out there that are clearly going to be interested in this next generation of voice technology. Vaibhav, how about yourself? What types of partners are you looking to engage with to help move the business forward?
Yeah. No, since we have joined, I've had some excellent conversations with some of the members in the group. The CPaaS community is where the aggregation of APIs happen, right? You have fintech verticals, banking verticals, insurtech, not logistics that much. But if you look at these three large verticals, a lot of them are engaged with CPaaS on a B2C or a B2B2C relationship, and then CPaaS companies have connectivity back to telcos. I think Nathan's one of the largest companies around that does the integration with more than 200 odd telcos. And with this existing business in place, and I think we spoke about SMS as a very strong currency, which is being used for mobile identity. There is a view that if things go as per plan, if telcos keep investing in evolving wireless, the new currencies coming up around location, around quality, around ability to influence traffic, could become the additional ways that CPaaS companies could serve their customers, right? We have been hearing about the limitations of SMS. It was great when it started, but everybody catches up, to a technology, and now we have new things coming up. So to augment this new set of potential business for CPaaS companies, Nabstract is an enabler. We are not an aggregator. We are an enabler company, where we believe that the expertise that we bring on board is typically from network bottoms up. We can fit into aggregator platform and help them create new API products so they can go back to their enterprise customers and sell more, right? In doing so, we are also simplifying telco's journey towards adopting network exposure, right? So it's a two-way street. But yes, from this forum's perspective, we would actively pursue partnerships with the CPaaS community to augment capabilities around network APIs as a part of the portfolio. So that's been our positioning and discussion so far.
Got it. That's a growing number of opportunities. So excited for the future of where you're headed. Now, clearly, Syniverse has a broad portfolio of products, but Nathan, as you look at growth, which is in your title, I believe,
Yes.
what do you see your focus? Who are you looking to work with? As you look out over the next 12 months, is where you're going to see some real partner growth.
Definitely. So when we're kind of thinking from a CPaaS perspective, we obviously have a long legacy of supporting enterprises and kind of their CPaaS needs, and so have that good knowledge and experience of what they need. But I think looking forward, and part of the reason we want to be part of this group is really working with the carriers and mobile operators as they look to grow their CPaaS businesses, because it's really a key area of revenue growth for them. And while A2P messaging and CPaaS has been around for a while, it's still a rapidly growing market with lots of white space. And so we're really looking to help support the carriers on their journey to support their enterprise customers and grow their CPaaS businesses, leverage the learnings we have on the enterprise side to help support them, as well as working with all the other kind of vendors and partners here to learn about how use cases are changing and how we can work together to best support both carriers and enterprises going forward.
Oh, excellent. I think that, again, fits well with where our focus is. And so, good alignment here with our goals and objectives as a broader group with your individual ones. So glad to see that that's the case. So I really appreciate everyone taking some time today and having our conversations. Again, the global nature of it is exciting for me. That's been my career, is traveling around the world, working with technology companies and operators. And so now that I can do that on a single call with friends from around the world, that's an awesome way to go about it. David, is there anything that you wanted to add or could summarize here with us?
Yes, please. I've actually got a colleague of mine who's been listening along to our conversation. So if we're able to share that, we'll see if he can say a thing or two to the audience. Humphrey, could you say hello, please?
Hello, everyone.
Could you hear Humphrey okay there?
Yep.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes, I can hear you.
And he can hear me too.
Great.
Humphrey, what did you think of the conversation so far?
It's been really interesting. A lot of exciting stuff about Speechmatics and the NewFlow API.
And who else is here? Who are the speakers in this conversation?
We have Kevin from the Communication Platform as a Service Acceleration Alliance, Vaibhav from Nabstract, Nathan from Syniverse, and David from Speechmatics.
So I'll wrap up from here. So again, appreciate everyone being with us today. Hopefully we're going to see you all in person in Amsterdam in about a month. We've got CPaaSAA 24 taking place from September 16th through the 18th, where the whole ecosystem will be there. We're over 100 members now, and so we expect almost all of those companies to be represented there in Amsterdam, along with other key decision makers from around the world. It's going to be a great event, a lot of fun. We're going to be at the tallest building in Amsterdam for a special party. We've got dinner for members, and then Wednesday, for all of our members, we'll have roundtables and working groups in person, which I think is probably the first time that's happened for our industry. So it's exciting times for all of us to be working together, and look forward to seeing you all there. Appreciate the time, and we'll be in touch soon.
Fantastic to meet you all.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.